Hello, this is Brian Hardin with New Ways to Evolve, Change, and Grow. Today's guest is Roger Gabriel, who's been connected with Deepak Chopra and the Chopra Center for over 30 years. He teaches a meditation practice every morning on Instagram at Chopra Center. Every morning on Instagram. And they've got an event, he and Deepak have an event coming up this coming Sunday, which he's going to tell us about in a second. So welcome, Roger. Thank you for joining us today. I know we're in some interesting times. Is there any advice that you have for how we can raise our frequency and stay clear and stay happy and connected?
Wow. Thank you, Brian, and namaste, welcome. Thank you for inviting me to be here with you today. And the most important thing in my life for raising frequency, of course, is meditation. I've been practicing meditation for, 45 plus years now, and it's been, the great centering aspect of my life. Not only, does it help me to deal with the stressful situations that come up in everyday life, let alone what's going on right now, of course. But it also, connects me with my true self, my essential nature. Most of the time we kind of forget who we are. I mean, it sounds ridiculous, but, most of the time we're living all these stories. I'm a man, I'm a meditation teacher, I'm this, I'm that, or the other, whatever it might be. But those things come and go. They change, And when they change, of course, that's what throws us into, chaos and confusion, because all of a sudden we're not who this person was. So meditation really takes us beyond all that and connects us with our true self and allows us to bring that person, back into our lives. And as we do that, then we have that, that deeper connection with everything, with the totality, because ultimately, that's what we are. We are part of the totality. We're all connected at that deepest level, even though we have our individuality and live our individual lives and do our own things. We still have that underlying connection where, we are one. When I, did Namaste, if you're not familiar with it, then, Namaste means I recognize the divinity in you that's also the same divinity that's in me. So in that level, we're connecting. So when we, bring our palms together and say namaste, we're recognizing our universality, that we're all, we're all in this together. And of course, now with, this pandemic, I think people are starting to realize more than ever that we are, all in this together, because we all have to work together. We all have to pull together. We have to support each other. And so, hopefully this will last. These things come, these things go. We've had, other tragedies or crises that have happened, but, and everyone gets together for a little while, but then of course, everything slips back into the same old, same old. So, I'm hoping that this will be an opportunity for us to change. And, one way for it to change is to raise the collective consciousness, because we've tried all these things in the past, with wars. Wars have been going on for thousands of years, since the beginning of history. And, things have been tried. We have sort of, short-lived pieces and things like that. But, we need to find the root cause. I think it was Albert Einstein who said, you cannot solve a problem at the level at which the problem was created. And so, we need to look beyond that. We need to look deeper. And really what it is raise the collective consciousness, because, that's really what we are. We're all part of the same collective consciousness. And if the collective consciousness is chaotic and confused and stressed, then that's the society we're going to create for ourselves. Whereas if we can raise it high enough, then we can change everything. And we don't have to have everybody, meditating, but we have to have enough. This law of physics where we reach a critical mass, and when we reach that critical mass, everything changes automatically now. We don't know exactly what that is. Deepak Chopra, who, I've been working with and a friend with for 30 plus years, he says it's around 1 billion people. That sounds huge, but, it's about 15% of the population. So it's not everybody, but we need to get enough people meditating or doing other spiritual practices, whatever, prayer, all of these things are very important too. And if we can do that, then we can shift the collective consciousness and things will change just like that. And we could see a beautiful, wonderful, peaceful, healthy, happy world, happen overnight. So that's really the key. It's never been tried before, but hopefully, we can do it. So we need to all pull together and look for the opportunity. And, we are the opportunity here. We have to take this step and do something.
I liked how you said that every crisis is an opportunity to learn and grow.
Sure. Yeah, you can, whatever it is in your life, we all have situations come up in our lives, whatever it is. And we can look at it as a problem. And if you look at, the situations in your life as problems, then you just get stuck in the problem, and you don't make any progress. You're just stuck there. Whereas if we look at it and say, well, this wasn't what I wished. I mean, nobody wished for this pandemic, obviously, but it's here, so we have to accept that it's here. And then we say, okay, what can we learn from this? What is the opportunity? Then we grow, then we move to a higher frequency.
So I understand that coming up possibly tomorrow on Sunday is this event. Could you tell me a little bit about what that is?
Yeah, Deepak Chopra, who, as I said, I've been working with for many years now, and I think probably most of you have heard of him, read his books or seen him on, TV or whatever. He is doing a global meditation on Sunday. It's at 12 noon Eastern time. And that's to get as many people as possible together at one time, meditating together. He'll lead us through a meditation and, see if we can kind of really raise the frequency for that. So you can reach it by going to this
Chopra Center or Instagram?
No. You can probably find it through the Chopra Center, but the direct link is the-well.com/stay at home. So it's THEWELL.com/stay at home. That should get you there, I think.
All right. I'll find out and put it in the links below.
Okay, yeah, maybe double check it. And when you go on there, then it has a place where you can register, and then they send you the link for how to get in on Sunday morning.
Fantastic. And then, so this is an interesting question for you, which I actually got to work with you about 20 years ago. We worked at the Chopra Center. And when we moved from Leucadia to La Costa, I was part of that whole watching that all happen, and we filmed some stuff. And so anyway, all those years ago, I understood you were the one with Deepak in the car driving around with a bunch of books in the back and hawking books from bookstore to bookstore before there was such a thing as a New Age bookstore or a self-help section in a bookstore. You were doing it. Is that right?
Well, we weren't quite, selling the books to bookstores. We weren't quite that desperate, but no. I first started working with Deepak in 1987. And, back in those days, he wasn't known. He just published his first book. Now he has 90 books or something. And I started working, we were in Massachusetts in those days. And I used to set up little talks for him, local talks, and there were a few people who were promoting speakers. In those days, there were maybe 10 different speakers what were called New Age speakers in those days. Now, of course, everyone who's taken a yoga class thinks they can give, a lecture or something like that. So I used to set up the talks, and then I would drive Deepak to the talk, and we'd sell the one book, and then I'd drive home, and and if we sort of sometimes there'd be like half a dozen people or 10 people or something like that, and it costs $10 or something. Now, of course, he gets thousands of people. It's way more expensive, but that's how we started, and. Even in those days, Deepak would be talking about all this non-local reality. You know, I'd be sitting there driving the car, and he'd be talking about the non-local reality and all this stuff. And, you know, and I was just going, you know, I used to go home and I think, you must think I'm so stupid because all I say is, But then, you know, as the organization grew and there was more than, you know, just Deepak and me, then, you know, I realized that everyone else was just going, So I didn't feel so bad anymore. But, you know, Deepak's a wonderful person. He's been a great friend, and not only to me, but to the world. And, you know, he has some wonderful knowledge, and he's a great pioneer in raising collective consciousness. So, you know, I hope everyone will be able to join in on Sunday. Or if you can't, you know, then start meditating yourself. If you don't have a meditation practice, then, you know, find one, do something. There's many simple ways to meditate. If you do, then, you know, be regular and encourage your friends. Nowadays, you know, where most of us are stuck at home in splendid isolation, or, you know, what, solitary confinement, depending on which way you look at it. You know, but you can do online things. I'm doing an online meditation every day. It's on the Chopra Center Instagram platform. It's at 8:30 every morning Pacific time. And it's just a short meditation, just about 10 to 15 minutes. And, you know, that'll be going on every day as long as we're on this lockdown situation. So if you have nothing else, I don't know what else to do, then please join me for that when you can. So,
Are you going to add any jokes to that while you like guided meditation and comedy?
well, you know, I mean, you know, I've never really taken anything too seriously in my life. You know, I think, you know, life is meant to be enjoyed, and
Yeah.
even, you know, we have a crisis going on, and yes, we have to, you know, be serious. We have to, you know, have compassion for the people who are suffering, and, you know, we have to have a lot of gratitude for the people who are still going out there, the doctors, the nurses, the first responders, the people who are keeping the utilities going, all the people who are running the grocery stores and things like that, the people who are, you know, the transportation people, the people who deliver things to people's home. You know, there's so many wonderful people out there that, you know, we really, if you're one of them, then, you know, I really, you know, respect you and eternally grateful for what you're doing. You know, but on the other hand, we have to lighten up as well. If we get, you know, when we get stressed from, you know, fear and, you know, anxiety and all that sort of stuff, it doesn't serve us. It doesn't serve us. It creates, you know, toxicity in our body. And when this is all over, we'll still have that toxicity, you know, and it'll cause all sorts of other health problems for us. So yes, you know, take it seriously, follow the recommendations that, you know, we're getting sent about, you know, washing our hands and social distancing and all of those things. You know, that's extremely important. But also, you know, find something fun to do. I recommend to people, I said, find something fun to do every day, whatever it is. You know, if you're stuck at home or if you're still going out, you know, just find something to sort of, you know, break this, you know, constant virus that we're being bombarded with. You know, and then we'll get through it. We'll get through it. I mean, otherwise, you know, we'll get through it, and then we'll have all sorts of other, you know, sicknesses and diseases that people will be facing.
I'm taking a new perspective on this. Instead of worried about this as a quarantine, I'm looking at this as an opportunity, like you said, to learn and grow, but an opportunity for me to be my own artist in residence, if you know what I mean. All those list of things to do that you've made over the years of like, one day I'm going to write this thing, or I'm going to organize my sock drawer and alphabetize this or whatever, or read this book.
Yeah.
Now you have some space to do that. And then your dreams that go way beyond just doing the menial task and the chores, all those dreams that you had, when I have time, I'm going to learn how to play guitar. Well, you have time now. Learn to play the guitar. You can do it right now on YouTube or whatever. So I challenge all of us to physically make some changes in your life. Like, let's eat better. Let's exercise a little bit now and de-stress all that. And then mentally, challenge yourself, and then spiritually challenge yourself, quieting the mind and, following your advice, Roger. I really, yeah.
Yeah, and there are opportunities. I mean, I'm surprised. I've learned how to freeze vegetables. I mean, I never had a freeze vegetable before. I mean, I ate them fresh or they came in a frozen packet, whatever. But now, and when I get a delivery and it's more than I can eat before they start going off, then I've learned how to freeze them. I've learned how to make soup and freeze the soup and all those things. But you just what you just said. It did remind me of a joke, talking about jokes, and that somebody said that, because of this, everyone's staying at home, in about 9 months' time, we're going to have a baby boom. And in 13 years, all those kids will be known as the quarantines.
The quarantines. The Qs.
Yeah.
The X generation, whatever, Y generation, and now the Qs.
Anyway, but so everyone should look after themselves, and we'll get through this. I mean, there'll be an end to it. It'll pass, and we'll get through to it. But let's get through it, healthy and strong, and as I said, let's be the opportunity for change, and let's create something better.
So, Roger, I have a funny little story. You've never heard this from me before, but I worked with you guys about 20 years ago. It was a long time ago, and they would be these week-long seminars that we'd be part of, and you get up and share for an hour, and Deepak usually about 2 hours a day would get up at an hour at a time and speak. And what I observed was every time he would speak, you would come in the back of the room and you would sit almost directly opposite him in the back of the room, and you would hold this presence or energy. And I watched you do this, and I don't know if it was on purpose or it just was your energy, was just this beautiful, big, kind, happy, joyous, loving energy. And I swear I could feel you come in and give the whole crowd this energy of like connectedness with Deepak. It's like they followed your lead of being connected. And so you're a really great example for me, because you're full of innocence and optimism and wisdom all at the same time. And so what I see in you is this beautiful balance of seeking, but with no fear, with all just love. And so thank you for that.
Well, you're very kind, and I don't know that I'm quite living up to everything but we do our best. We should all do our best. And one technique that I learned many years ago is as far as radiating energy or whatever it is, and it can be energy, it can be love, it can be light, whatever it is. But it's always to draw it from your higher self. The mistake most people make is they try and give it from themselves. And, we have limited resources. The battery gets drained, and if the battery gets drained, then we get sick ourselves. So, I tell people, imagine, we all have a physical self, but we also have a higher self. Our higher self is what connects us to, the field of infinite possibilities, the absolute, if you like. And the higher self it's non-local, it's everywhere. But we, imagine that it's a little bit above your head, maybe a foot or 2 feet above your head. So whenever you want, just let your awareness rise up there, connect with your higher self, and then whatever it is, love, light, energy, imagine you're just drawing it down through the top of your head. Fill your brain, fill all those thoughts, all those negative emotions, just fill them with love and light. Let the pure love and light dissolve it, and then draw it down into your heart center. Fill your heart center with love and light. And then allow it to expand throughout your whole body. Just fill your body with pure love, pure light, healing love, healing light. Fill every cell of your body with this light, this love. And then move it beyond your physical body. I'm doing this quickly now. You can do it slower on your own. Because surrounding our physical body, of course, we have our subtle bodies, our aura. Fill your aura with perfect, pure love, pure light, pure energy, whatever you want to call it. Surround yourself with this. It acts as a kind of shield. You're protected by this. And then send it out to the world. Blast it out to the world. And nothing can affect you, because it's like, if you have a hose pipe and the water's rushing out of the hose pipe, no dirt can get in the hose pipe. If you're drawing this from your higher self and projecting it out, nothing's going to affect you, and yet you're sharing this with the whole world, and it's going through you. So you're getting energized, you're getting lit up, you're getting filled with this pure love, and you're sharing it with the whole world. And so, it's a simple thing that you can do, but always bring it from your higher self, not from your small self, because otherwise you'll wear yourself out.
I, years ago, whenever I first learned transcendental meditation from you and Deepak, he would often, we had this advanced meditation course, and, I took my own notes on it. And, we would go from the root chakra up through to the crown chakra. And
those are advanced techniques.
Yeah. So he would always start with the root chakra and go to the, and honestly, it was working a little bit, but one day I switched things. See, I had a near-death experience when I was a kid, when I was 16 years old. So I don't identify with my body as much as I identify with my spirit. So I feel like I'm a spirit that just happens to have a body. And when you start from the root and go up, that's the technique, I think, for the people who identify as a body that just happen to have a spirit. Well, I'm the other way around. So I stopped Deepak one day in the hallway and said, hey, your meditation technique works better for me when you flip it upside down and start from my spirit, like you just did, and bring it into the body. And then, because I'm not going out, I'm going in. And so this time we're in right now is a going in. Instead of, we can't go outside, so we better go inside.
I mean, they are different techniques. Mm-hmm. There is a distinct value from starting from the bottom and working up, because, that's more of a clearing. So what you're doing, you're clearing the channels, and we're starting at the bottom, which is the most dense. That's what grounds us into the earth, our root chakra. It's where it's our sense of survival, in that chakra. So we start there and then we move up gradually. So that's a process for doing that, and then eventually we get higher. We're clearing everything out. What I'm doing with this technique is it's like a quick hit, just bring it in quickly, like that. But, as you said, you feel that you're more of a spiritual being. Well, that's it. We're not human beings who have occasional spiritual experiences. We're spiritual beings who happen to be having this human experience right now. But, and that's the great thing about, all these techniques, meditation, as I was saying at the beginning, it reconnects us with our essence, which is pure spirit. And it brings that memory. It reminds us of who we are. We're not this mind. We're not this body. These are just things that, we're using, we're inhabiting right now. And, that's okay. We can enjoy it and have fun. But remember, we're something much greater. And ultimately, aham brahmasmi. I am the totality. I am the universe. I mean, and if you realize or remember that you are the universe, you are the totality, what's there to be afraid of? Absolutely nothing.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So one thing I see in you that I really admire, the biggest, is your innocence and your open-mindedness and this genuine smile that you have. Like when you smile, your heart is open. And I think everybody does that same thing. It's actually, everything's contagious. Fear is contagious. Anger is contagious. Rah, 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 rah. Argue, blame, and complain, that's all contagious. But your joy and your open-hearted innocence is contagious. So I've watched a lot of people around you soften and open their hearts and get that same joyous look because it's contagious. And so do you have any tricks and tips to how to keep that innocence and open-mindedness and joy alive in yourself?
It wasn't something that I sort of set out to create. I didn't think, okay, I'm going to be simple and innocent or, anything like that. It kind of happened. And, you know, I had a big shift, which some years ago. I've traveled to India many, many times, and it was about 2003 or 2004. I I was invited to visit an ashram in Varanasi, which is in northern India. It's India's most sacred city, in fact. It's on the Ganges. And when I went there, I met the guru of the ashram. And as soon as I saw him, it was love, you know, love at first sight, you know. And I realized that this man had something wonderful, and he was the purest, simplest, most humble person you could imagine. He was, you know, very well recognized in India. He's not known in the West, but he lived in it very simply, just one small room. He slept on the floor. He didn't like beds or anything like that. Everything there, and so I asked if I could, you know, keep coming back. You know, he said, yes, yes, you know, this ashram is your ashram, come. But he didn't speak much English, and my Hindi wasn't worth, you know, mentioning. So we couldn't have intellectual discussions because, you know, most of my spiritual training had been asking questions, reading books, you know, studying and all that sort of stuff. So I thought, well, you know, I'm here for a reason. You know, nothing happens without a reason. And so I thought, what am I supposed to learn? And then, you know, I said, I'm here to learn simplicity, humility, and just pure joy. And I can do that just by being in his presence, or just by observing him. So, you know, obviously, you know, all these people watching are going to go, wow, it's all right for you. You know, we can't run off to India and live in an ashram or something like that. But, you know, just be around people who are happy. You know, try and, you know, find people who have that joy, that simplicity, and they're there. You know, and it might be somebody in the, you know, not now, we're not going out, but, you know, it could be somebody in the coffee shop or somebody online. You know, there's nowadays, you know, because of this crisis, there's so many wonderful people putting out all sorts of great stuff on, you know, YouTube and through social media. Really beautiful things. I read one thing this morning. This is from another, not my ashram, but another ashram. This is from the Paramat Nikatan ashram, which is in Rishikesh, India. And the word karuna is Sanskrit for compassion, karuna. And so their you know, tagline on all this thing is from corona to karuna. You know, which I thought was beautiful. And, you know, so there's a lot of wonderful people out there. So, you know, watch them, learn from them, and, you know, keep it simple. Don't overcomplicate your life. Life is so complicated now. Just ask yourself, what can I do to simplify my life? Now, if you're locked in your home, your apartment, you know, hey, it's a great opportunity to go through the closets and the cupboards and say, hey, what can I ditch? What can I throw out? You know, and so when this is over, you know, then, you know, it can all go off to Goodwill or somewhere like that. And, you know, simplify your life. Don't make it overcomplicated. You know, we need to make money and feed ourselves and house ourselves and things like that. But, you know, you don't need all the extra stuff. You know.
So thank you for reminding everybody that they have to ask the question all the time of what is going on in my life right now, and what is the lesson to learn in all this. One time, I had a short little story to tell you here. One time we were working at the Chopra Center, and Deepak would sneak in the back of the room where the entrance was, and he'd come over to where I was. I was on this little backstage that had this all the sound and all the lights and everything, controls. And he came up and he said, so, you know, what's on the schedule for me to do today? Because, you know, it was a week-long seminar. And, you know, I looked at the little schedule, and it said he had to speak about compassion. He goes, okay, well, here, play the CD for the first 5 minutes, and then I'll talk about compassion. And, or excuse me, about judgment. Okay, the whole subject was judgment. Don't judge. So he goes up and he speaks about don't judge yourself. Don't judge anybody else. It just leads to misery. And that was the whole lesson for an hour. He just, off the top of the head, just gave people all this inspiration. And so he gets through with the whole lesson, and he comes back to where I was, and he goes, so how did I do? And I honestly thought he was kidding. And I start laughing, belly laughing, and I actually fell over laughing. Like, that was a great joke. And he goes, what? I said, you're judging yourself. He goes, oh, I had to listen to myself more often. Have you ever had those moments?
And we all do it. I mean, we're all guilty to something. Okay, so here's another technique for you.
Uh,
This is an empowerment technique. Okay, um, and this is done looking into a mirror. So it's you're looking into your own eyes. So this is the soul reflecting back on itself. Okay, so you do this in front of a mirror, or anywhere where you can get your reflection. And there are four phrases. It doesn't matter, sorry, three phrases. It doesn't matter what the order is, and you just say them looking into your own eyes, okay? So one of them is immune to criticism and flattery. Immune to criticism and flattery. Immune to criticism and flattery. The second one is above and beneath no one. Above and beneath no one. Above and beneath no one. And the third one is fear less in any situation. No fear. Fear less in any situation. Fear less in any situation. And then you can tie them all together with that, mantra I just said earlier, aham brahmasmi. Aham brahmasmi. Or if you prefer the English, you can say, I am the universe, I am the totality. And this is a technique I've used for years. Anytime you feel, maybe you're going somewhere or you're doing a live interview or something like this and you feel a little nervous, just find somewhere where you can look into a mirror and just say these things to yourself. Do it every morning. When you get up, of course you get up, you go in the bathroom first thing, it's not too scary. First thing, look at your reflection in the mirror. Just do this, set yourself up for the day, immune to criticism and flattery. It doesn't matter, we're above all that, above and beneath no one. We're all equal. It doesn't matter who's rich, who's famous or whatever. We're all equal, on that level. And then fearless in any situation, because I am the universe, aham brahmasmi. That's who we are. So simple technique.
what you just told everybody was so beautiful, but there was a story that I've heard. I don't know if it came from you or Deepak or someone else about the most beautiful horse. Could you tell us that story if you know it? Otherwise, I'll make up my own version of it.
I think you better make up your own. I mean,
Oh, so here was the story. This guy had the most beautiful horse in all the land.
oh yeah. Sorry, yeah. What was it? Well, you tell it. I'll forget.
You can, okay. So, well, you please take over if it comes to you real clearly. But the story was the guy had the most beautiful horse in all the land, and everybody came to him and said, "This is incredible! You got the most beautiful horse. You should be the most proud guy in the world." And he didn't. Once again, he had followed your advice, and so he didn't get too egotistical and prideful of the horse. He was like, "Well, thank you." Gratitude, thank you, and then slough it off. And then one day the horse runs away, and everybody said, "Oh, this is terrible. You should panic. This is horrible. You've lost the most beautiful horse in the world. Now you've got to plow your own fields." And once again, he didn't panic. He just didn't let that upset him, and he just sloughed it off as like, well, something good will come of it. He's looking for the positive in the crisis, and so. The following day, the horse comes back, and it's a beautiful mare that he lost. And the mare comes back, and it's got the most beautiful male horse with it. And so, so it continues. Well, go ahead.
Yeah, no, that's what it is. I mean, it's being detached. Not. People think that if you're on a spiritual journey, you shouldn't have desires. Well, desires are okay. We all have desires. We want this, that, or the other, whatever it might be. But the problem is that, or the challenge comes with the attachment to things, the attachment to objects, to desires. When you're not attached, then we allow everything to flow. If you have a desire, then, and you're attached to the outcome of the desire, then you limit the possibilities. You know, it's like, let's say I want a new car. I want a blue BMW, you know, and you know, my life won't be worth living if I don't get this blue BMW, you know. So I work hard, I borrow money, whatever, I get it together. I go to the dealership, I buy my blue BMW. That's been the whole focus of my life. I'm driving out of the dealership and I look and this green Jaguar goes by and I go, my goodness, I didn't know Jaguar had made a car like that, because I was so focused on one thing, I'd excluded all the others. So being detached is saying, this is what I think I want. However, if there's something even better, it's okay to send that along instead. And that's really, you know, what your story was, you know, being detached, letting go, letting the universe organize whatever's best, and then just being there and accepting it when it comes.
Yeah, I've also heard a story where, you know, you're here in LA and you want to fly over here to New York, and so the pilot, the winds might be coming down here, and instead of the pilot just trying to fly straight, that would blow him off down below.
Right.
So life is like that. Sometimes you get this version of like, oh, I want to go there, I want to go there, but the winds of change or the life blow you off course, and they might take you someplace better, maybe Florida or the Bahamas.
Yeah, you might end up somewhere better, but
Yeah.
you know, and on the other hand, we just have to kind of, you know, also sometimes go with the flow, because it's like, you know, if you're driving on the highway and you come to some, you know, construction or something like that, and there's a sign saying a detour, you know, you want to go this way, but now all of a sudden you're going this way. Maybe you're even going to go this way on the detour, you know, and you're thinking, hey, this is ridiculous. I'm going in the wrong direction. But sometimes you have to go in the wrong direction in order to get around the obstacle to go in the correct, you know, direction. So, you know, we have to be easy with these things as well. And, you know, one of the most important tools I've learned over the years is to learn to listen to your body. You know, your body will always tell you what's right for you. You know, your body is always good, and it's very simple, because your body only has two messages: I'm comfortable, I'm uncomfortable. As simple as that.
Yum or yuck.
Yeah, exactly. So learn to listen to your body. You know, ask your body, and it's with everything. With the food you eat some food. How did you feel afterwards? Do you feel light and nourished, or do you feel heavy and dull and, you know, indigestion or something like that? Listen to that signal. Don't eat that food again, or, you know, the same way or quite as much, or whatever. Your relationships. You know, if you're going to meet somebody, how do you feel? I mean, you feel wonderful, oh, I'm going to meet so-and-so, or do you feel, oh gosh, I'm going to go and spend time with that person again? You know, your job, I mean, I know most people aren't going to work these days, but when you are, how do you feel about Monday morning? You know, do you look forward to going to your work, or is it, oh no, I've got to go to that awful job? You know, listen to these signals and make changes in your life. You know, don't just follow the same old, same old. Learn to listen to your body. It's you know, most of the time we ignore it. You know, our body's shouting, oh, I'm so tired, I want to go to bed. You know, this voice up here is going, oh, but Brad Pitt's on the Late Show, I have to stay up and watch Brad Pitt. You know, listen to your body. If you, excuse me, if you learn to listen to your body, you know, you can change your life.
Wow. So my last question is, are there any questions I forgot to ask for you?
Yeah, there's probably a couple of thousand, but that's all right. We'll get to them over the next millennium. Uh, you know, I don't know. I mean, probably, but no, I mean, you know, as I said, you know, in the beginning, when I did my monologue at the beginning, you know, I think the most important thing is we do something to raise our level of consciousness and support other people around us in raising their levels of consciousness. And, you know, meditation is, you know, the very simplest one. And, you know, if you don't have a meditation practice, just observe your breath. You know, our thoughts take us into the future or the past. That's where we are. And so consequently, that's where we spend most of our lives. We, you know, most of the time we're not here. You know, we miss it. You know, you get old and you look back on your life and go, darn it, I missed the whole thing. I wasn't there, because most of the time we're not here. Our breath is always in the moment. Your breath can never be in the future or the past. So, just bring your awareness to your breath. You can do it anytime. If you're feeling a little frazzled now, all these emotions come up and things like that. As soon as you realize it, come to your breath. Take a few deeper breaths. When we get stressed, our breathing becomes shallow. We're breathing up here. Just take a breath. Think of taking a breath as like filling a glass with water. When you fill a glass with water, it fills from the bottom, then the middle, then the top. So breathe in, deep breath, fill your belly, let it expand, then your middle chest and then your upper chest. And when you breathe out, it's the reverse. Here, here. And then we just kind of slightly suck in the belly as the air goes out. Do that, but observe your breath. Just be with your breath. Just breathe in, breathe out, and just have your awareness on your breathing. It's a very simple meditation technique. You can do it, you can do it with your eyes open if you need to, or just sit quietly, close your eyes, sit comfortably, quietly, and just do that, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes if you want. And then, of course, there are many other techniques with mantras and things like that. Through the Chopra Center, we teach primordial sound meditation, which is a wonderful mantra-based meditation technique. But, you can start with your breath and,
I consider it like juggling. You can always add another ball. There's always more to learn. It's like math or juggling. You get, like there's always another higher level of meditation. Have you found that to be true?
Yeah, but don't spend your whole life looking for new techniques. I mean, I can't tell you the number of people who come to, the programs that we've offered at the, through Chopra or whatever, and they say, well, what new techniques are we going to learn this one? I said, are you practicing the ones you learned last year? Well, no, but is there something new? And so, don't become obsessed with new techniques and things like that. If you just keep it simple, that's all you need. If you want more advanced things, yes, they're available and you can do them, but just do something simple and do it regularly. That's the most important thing, to do it, to get a regular practice, some exercise. These are the things we need. We need, regular exercise, and it can be just walking. Now, you can't go to the gym and things like that. Every morning, I usually get up around 5:30 or so. 6 o'clock, I go for my walk. It's still dark. There's hardly anyone ever around, I'm not worried about, social distancing because there's nobody around. So I go for a walk in the morning. That's my exercise for the day. But, then I do some yoga stretching, just some simple things at home. So, get some exercise, get good quality sleep. This is so important, 7 to 8 hours. Everybody should shoot for 7 to 8 hours of sleep a night, good quality sleep. Or if you can't get it all in the night, take a nap during the daytime, whatever you need to do. Meditate, get a regular practice of meditation. A healthy diet. I know it's a little difficult now, if you can't, go to the grocery store and things like that, but, as best you can, eat a healthy diet. Stay grounded, stay centered, all of those things. So these are the things.
And water.
Water, stay hydrated, yeah. People, they, now we're working at home, so we're sitting in front of the computer for hours and they say, well, take a break every hour from the computer and, move around. Well, I think, hey, the amount of water I'm drinking, that's no problem. I'm off to the bathroom at least once an hour. So,
And then there's sunshine too.
Sunshine, yeah, get some fresh air. You can do that, if you've got a balcony or a patio, or just, step outside your building or something like that, get some fresh air. And, relationships, keep your relationships, even if it's online, on the phone, things like that, call your friends, your family, and just, check in. And don't sort of, dwell on this virus all the time. Talk about good things, share memories or stories or whatever, As I said, lighten up, smile. Don't forget to smile. Everyone can smile. It's free.
I like how you said lighten up. I actually say that angels fly because they take themselves lightly. And that when we get rid of the heavies off of our own shoulders, then we can actually fly ourselves, that's weighing us down.
Yeah, enlightenment means to lighten up. That's it.
Yeah. Well, that's why I've been a fan of yours, because you actually have a genuine authentic, real gift of making love come oozing out of you. So
You
thank
know,
you.
you
Yeah.
know, if the worst comes to the worst, then we'll deal with that too. I mean, people say, well, what if you got the virus? I said, well, if I'm meant to get it, if I get it, then, I'll deal with that if it happens, and say, what if it kills you? Well, then I won't worry about it anymore.
You
So,
should panic now and avoid the rush, right?
uh,
No.
but,
No fear.
please all stay safe, stay well, and, follow the directions and instructions and, you know, enjoy whatever you have.
Can you give everybody an opportunity to how to contact you, what your website is?
Oh yeah,
Or
my website is it's simple. It's just rogergabriel.com, all lowercase, rogergabriel.com. It's free. You can go there. There's a bunch of articles, about 50 articles on various things. There's about 50 guided meditations. So if you want some help, you can just go there and click on one of them and just listen, and I'll guide you through a meditation. It's got some chants, a few other things on it. So some something of value or use there. So as I say, it's free. So please use it and share it with anyone else.
well, fantastic, Roger. Thank you so much for sharing an hour here with us and giving us opportunity to get deeper in our own joy and bliss with your techniques. Thank
Well,
you.
thank you for having me, and thank you for all you're doing. I mean, you're doing a great job and a great service, to the world, to the population. So I thank you, and I send much love and blessings to everybody. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you.